All right, let's see if we can do a little bit of what's new on Stojr's shelf. So a bunch of different purchases lately, eBay, buy two, get one free sales, at Amazon, Target, things like that. A lot of things were released in September and October. First one I want to talk about is Justice League by Scott Snyder and James Tywin IV, the Omnibus 1 and 2. So I had read good things about this series, but mainly I got this because I had already owned the Dark Knight's Death Metal book. And this Justice League book really leads directly into that. So a lot of the kind of status quo, what do you need to know, where are things at, develop in these two volumes of the Justice League book, leading directly and connecting through. So these kind of all go together if you're interested in what is going on with Batman, Superman, the League, Lex Luthor, the Legion of Doom. Has a very classic kind of cartoon feel to it. Some great art and things of that nature. So this Justice League series goes up to issue 75. And I think it leads into a different event from this ends with issue 39, if I remember correctly. Just got this in yesterday, so I haven't read it yet. Yeah, it goes up to issue 39. So while issues in the 50s are collected here for the crossover, issue 40 through 75, other than what's in that crossover for Death Metal, is in future omnibuses. Moving down to this kind of DC Finest shelf that I have listed under D. Basically, just wanted to keep all this together for the time being. So it's a little bit of a hodgepodge of stuff, not officially in order. Kind of have the DC Finest in chronological order right now, but I might move the Batman books with the Batman. I picked up Moon Knight. I need to make some room on my shelf. I've never collected any Moon Knight books before, but I got these on eBay used for less than $20 each. Anytime I can get an epic for less than $20 shipped, it's kind of a no-brainer. You can always sell it later or give it away to family or friends, things like that, or just kind of keep it in the collection as something to take to look at once in a while. So this is actually I got them reversed. So volume 2 is on the right, volume 2 is on the volume 4 is on the left. 1981 to 1982, great year, and 1984 to 1990, right? So Moon Knight didn't always have his own ongoing series, so that's why there's such a large chronological shift here. So this one has the Moon Knight 1985 series 1 through 6, the Mark Spector Moon Knight series of 1 through 7, and a bunch of Marvel fanfare issues where he was in those. Whereas this has the previous Moon Knight series 5 through 23. And since there would have been enough for a volume 1 before this, I would assume that volume 1 has issues 1 through 4, as well as any previous series to that, and any kind of issues or appearances Moon Knight had before he had his own ongoing series. Next up is Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. This is the version of the book for DC Finest that has all of the crossover issues in it. And I don't know that I would recommend this for everybody. So this book is maybe more for a completist, maybe more for people that want to kind of see what's going on during that time. It does not have a lot of connective tissue, at least in this volume yet. So some of these issues that are crossing over here are interesting, that they're aligned with that time period, but they don't do a lot to advance the story necessarily. This, for me though, having already owned this in multiple formats, is sort of a no-brainer. So I have the trade paperback here, which collects the 12-issue miniseries, amazing art by George Perez. And then I also own a hardback that years ago I got used that comes with a poster inside. And that's what the hardcover looks like outside of the slipcase. And the poster is that iconic Death of Supergirl poster. Moving on to Daredevil, where they just announced a new #1. I did pick up the Daredevil to the Devil in Cell Block D, which is the continuation of the modern era epics. This one covers Daredevil from the 1998 series, number 82 to 94. I had most of this in some thin trades, like up here, but looking to replace them with the epics and sell these thin trades or give them away to some of my nephews or niece if they're interested in that. Still looking forward to the last volume of the Bendis run, which is right in between here. So we have volume 4 collected, and this is volume 6. So we're missing volume 5. These get released out of chronological order. Volume 5 is expected in February or March next year. I forget which off the top of my head. And moving down to the X shelf, I've filled in some gaps in the later volumes of X-Men. Finally got my replacement copy of Dawn of X, which is great. That book was damaged, and the store finally sent me my replacement copy. Just took a little while for the back and forth shipping. So through a Facebook Marketplace sale, I was able to pick up a couple of thin trades because they're not available in thick trades. So that's what this Powerless and Dream's End, Eve of Destruction. There's an omnibus for Eve of Destruction. It's probably out of print right now. But that's one thing I picked up. And then some thick trades. So the Uncanny X-Men X-Corpse thick trade. This is sort of coincides with the new X-Men E for Extinction. So what was going on in the adjectiveless X-Men series at this time, this was what was going on in Uncanny X-Men at that exact same time. And as new X-Men continued, there was different volumes of the X-Men. There's this Unstoppable volume where the Juggernaut joins the team, followed by the Trial of the Juggernaut. And a lot of this kind of gets mixed up and convoluted, like in the sense of who's writing what, where stories are going. This is the Chuck Austin run mixed in here for Uncanny X-Men. So there's, Uncanny and adjectiveless kind of jump around. If you look at like the new X-Men team, they kind of jump into the other Astonishing X-Men title. Whereas, this is covering people like, Angel and Havoc and Iceman and things like that. So after Astonishing X-Men, there's this sort of Reloaded era with some great art. Juggernaut on the team, Gambit, Rogue, Polaris in a sort of Magneto-esque costume, and a new version of Zorn. Hard to find books, but I was able to get the House of M as part of this set. This is Chris Claremont's final, I think, or third run of X-Men. So Chris Claremont wrote X-Men for about 19 years. Came back and did some very brief storylines that I don't have collected on my shelf, and then returned a third time for this era of the end of history and this House of M in these thick trades. Meanwhile, the Peter Milligan was writing the adjectiveless X-Men with Salvador Larroca continuing on art. And this is where you had a sort of crossover with Black Panther. You had Apocalypse return, things like that. And then both series with books I already had on my shelf. I bought these when they sort of hit 10, 15 years ago. This is where Uncanny X-Men kind of kicked off with Ed Brubaker, moving into the Rise and Fall of the Shi'ar Empire. This is the storyline that continues right after Deadly Genesis, with the return or the reveal of a third hidden Summers brother, or fourth, depending on how we count, a weird character that everybody tries to forget. And then X-Men Supernovas was what was happening in Adjectiveless X-Men. Was it Mike Carey and Chris Bacalo, Humberto Ramos. Been trying to pronounce names more properly, and as I listen to New Condition and Omar does an excellent job of that. I do not have the experience of pronouncing all of the names properly. So learning as I go. And that's it. I only picked up some of these thick trades here as well as these thin ones over here. But this is the era of sort of Uncanny X-Men around issue 400 through 500 in this sort of section here. This X Nation one that I have is, I think, covers like 515 or something like that, to just give you a sense of how many issues this is covering right here. And as I continue with the sort of buy one or buy two, get one free sales and finding things on discount, one of the books I was able to pick up was Future Imperfect. This is an Incredible Hulk, issues 407 to 419. This has the wedding of Rick and Marlo in it. But more importantly, this has the Future Imperfect storyline. I think it's like sort of two thick issues, two sort of oversized one-shot issues with the reveal or the introduction of the Maestro, a future Hulk in a world where there is no more heroes. So it's very sort of Mad Max, future-esque environment. A really interesting and sort of dark storyline for the Hulk. And highly recommend getting this volume, even if it's just for those two issues. So that's about all I have new on the shelf from the last time I did one of these. Let me know if you wanted me to do a sort of a deep dive and kind of overview of what's inside one of these books, or I'm considering doing some, sort of walkthroughs of what's in my collection and what's missing in my collection, right? So if you kind of take a look here at this X-Men shelf, what are the gaps to go from X-Men #1 all the way to, X-Men 500 or X-Men 600. The Dawn of X, I think, ends in, X-Men 700. And there's a lot more of Krakoa volumes that come after that.